Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Age of Strife. You set out through the swamp with your new friend? Is that the right
Yeah,
term for him?
Question mark? Guide.
just
Guide!
wants him to be a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's actually close the image. We don't need him no more. And the frogman starts taking you along the edge of the swamp. Now, it's going to be a little ways. Um, He keeps leading you throughout the course of the day. He moves much, much faster than you guys. His beetle has all these different limbs, so it's not almost always, but more frequently able to find itself on land, and it's much thinner limbs spread out the weight a little bit. Don't
How
get
big is
stuck to the swamp quite so much. Well, hmm?
how big is the beetle compared to our horses?
Ooh, I think the beetle is probably smaller than your horses, fairly significantly.
Mm-hmm.
Your horses weigh, I don't know, like 1,000 pounds or
Probably something like that.
something like that. I think the beetle probably weighs a little bit less, but it's much bigger. It's broader,
Yeah,
so it's a little bit shorter than that. Beetle, beetle,
maybe
beetle, beetle.
Arthur can tame a beetle.
Hmm.
I mean, maybe if it's a natural animal.
Looks like it.
You know what? Actually, it's probably a little bit bigger. This is, I think, a stag beetle. They're about 10 feet
Oh,
long, so they're pretty big.
aren't those like super powerful compared to their weight? So a giant one's probably like a beast.
Yeah.
It's like D50.
It does 4d4 damage with its horn,
Whew.
and D10 and D10 with I don't know what, but it gets 3 attacks per round.
So maybe we should buy some beetles.
Yeah. You'll probably have to give away your sword. Unless they don't claim ownership of all the beetles. Maybe they
We'd probably have to give them away more than just.
maybe
my
they have a
sword.
strong idea of beetle rights. They're all free to choose their own path.
Hmm. So it's going to actually take you more time than there is in the day. The frog leads you until the sun begins to set over the blackthorn forest, and then kind of out of nowhere declares that you guys are making camp.
Okay. I carefully observe the frog to see how he makes camp and like what he uses. Or
He
just like
takes off all of the gear off of the beetle, takes off the saddle and the bags and everything. And at which point the beetle opens up these big wings that it's got on its back and kind of flutter. It doesn't actually take off, but it shakes them out a little bit, and starts kind of walking around eating different plants. It's been munching on things all throughout the day. The frogman pulls out some tarps looking things. They don't quite look like woven tarps. There's some sort of natural material that looks like maybe it's part of an oversized wing or something. Sticks part of it, underneath the water, and with a couple of these semi-transparent natural tarps, creates this really crude shelter, and then just submerges himself in the water and scoots under the shelter.
nice. Okay, so I guess we set up our tent
Hmm.
that we brought back from the Hydra fight because apparently Luther's a stickler for covering your items.
Your tent still has like a Hydra stains on it.
That's fine.
Yeah. Okay. And
Nobody ever needed a pretty tent.
you guys can pass the night away. Yeah, tents don't need to be pretty. They're
Um,
practical.
I guess I'll have. I guess Annis and Jacob can sleep in the tent unless they have their own tents or something. But what I was gonna say is that we should take watches.
Mm. All right. Well, I'll take first watch.
Okay. And I'll tell Annis and Jacob to take the middle watches, and I'll take the last one if we're doing four, which
Yeah.
are like 2 hours each.
Let's see. During your watch, Luther, you said you took fourth watch?
Yeah.
Okay, I want you to make me a perception check during your watch.
They've been good so far, so I expect this one to fail. Nope.
So you're kind of looking out. It's reaching near the end of winter now.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, when is the first day of spring?
That's a good question.
March 20th. Yes, it's already into spring. So there's stars up in the sky. Malchus's constellation is setting because it's very late or very early, depending on the way you look at it. You can see Martha's constellation's already mostly risen. The stars are out in force, and
Yeah, I guess it's early April right now, since we waited 2 weeks after the 21st. So
Yeah. So we are.
April
It's
4th.
It's like April 3rd or 4th, so it's a half moon. With all the stars out, so you've got some vision here in the swamp, which teems with life even during the night. When you spot shifting towards your camp, pretty close now, maybe like 30 or 40 feet, what looks to be goblins low in the water, slowly moving forward. You can just see their kind of lumpy heads poking out, almost like alligators.
Okay. How long do I think it's going to take them to get here?
Maybe they're moving pretty slowly, maybe a minute. They're not that
Okay,
far.
If it's a minute, I guess I'm like sitting on the outside of the tent or something.
Yeah.
I'm gonna move into it and start like violently shaking Arthur and Annis and Jacob. And once I make sure that they're awake, I'm gonna go outside of the tent and.
Yeah. So Arthur, you wake up.
Okay.
And go outside the tent and what?
I said ready my sword and shield, but the frog has my arming sword. So I ready my silver sword.
Okay, when you step out of the tent, the goblins leap to the attack. Where is our...
Here we go.
Okay, so nobody's surprised. We'll just roll initiative right off the bat. You can be in armor since it was your watch. Everyone else is in whatever they go to bed in.
Yep.
Okay, and I'll start. I guess there are probably enough noises to probably wake up the frogman, right?
Probably.
Okay. I don't feel the need to yell then. Ooh, quick. I guess our horses are tied up to trees somewhere near the camp.
Yep. Okay. Arthur, since you are Reginald's brother, I'm going to have you roll initiative for the 2 warriors under your house.
Okay. What's their speed?
D10 plus 6.
There's 1. There's 2.
Ooh,
Okay.
fairly quick.
So, the first goblin goes at 10, which means Luther goes first with a 7.
Okay, so what's the guard action do? Like, can I wait for goblins to come towards me and get opportunity attacks when they come into range?
You can ready an attack, so as soon as something comes at you, you make an attack against it rather than moving towards it. But it would only give you the 1 attack.
Okay, well, I will... How many goblins are there?
It's kind of dark. There's at least 6, maybe more.
Oh.
And if I take total defense, what does that do?
That should increase your AC by... God, I should know this off the top of my head, and I really don't. I always forget this thing. I think it's like your level divided by 5 plus 1. Let me double check.
It's not a bad idea if a lot of them are coming for me. Which I think they probably are, since I was the first one out of the tent.
Defensive disarm. Why is it not... Why can I not find... I think it's level divided by 5. I think for
yeah, for fighters it's probably a lot better than for thieves.
Yeah.
Combat
Parry.
Attack options.
Okay, in order to make himself harder hit, a character can parry, forfeit all actions in the round. He can't attack, move, or cast spells. This frees the character to concentrate solely on defense. At this point, all characters but warriors gain an AC bonus equal to half their level. Ah, that's it. So you half your level. Warriors get half their level plus 1.
So round up or round down?
Round down.
So 2.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna position myself. Like I'm gonna kind of move towards the goblins a little bit, and I'm gonna bang on my shield with my sword and take total defense.
Okay. Arthur. No, not
this is
Arthur.
One of the guards.
One of the guards. Okay, there are 2 of them. Why don't you control them for us?
Oh yeah, the beetle. The
Uh,
beetle comes in.
And they were rolling their spear speed, huh?
Right, they're thrusting with spears.
Okay, yeah. I guess this first guy moves up beside Luther and a little bit behind him and tries to take a stab at one of the goblins that's encroaching on our sacred tent.
Excellent.
I'll just roll d20 or...
Let's see, the light is pretty dim here, and the goblins aren't affected by the low light. So I think you're actually going to get a penalty to hit in combat. Is it here? It's not quite as bad as starlight since there's a half moon. We'll say it's low light, -1 to hit.
Spears have range, right?
They can be thrown, but otherwise these are short spears, melee range only.
Okay, so they don't have 1 reach or whatever it is.
No.
Terrible.
Terrible. Absolutely god-awful. Who is that? That's Annis, yeah. Just a worthless. Then Jacob goes at the same time as the first goblin closes with Luther, making a thrust with a 14 to hit.
Nope.
Okay.
Total defense, I have 21 AC.
Holy god.
Yeah.
All right.
Alright, Arthur. Not Arthur.
And, Jacob.
That's the one.
There we go. 13.
Huh?
13 is a hit against the goblins in their little armor.
Good work, Jacob.
Here's some damage. It's okay.
5
be
points
worse.
of damage is not quite enough to kill a goblin, but it does wound it badly.
Short spears are OP.
Oh, yeah.
They cost 1 gold and they do 2d4.
Yeah, spears are a beautiful weapon.
Yeah.
That's the reason why they were the primary weapon for military campaigns for a couple thousand years.
Yep.
Should have specialized in spear so I could dual wield spears.
Dual wield long spears. Although, are those large?
Yeah, you can't. You need both hands to dual wield to hold one of them.
You could play a half ogre. You wield long spears and just like spin around with your 2 reach. That'd be great.
Okay, the next goblin goes at 14, so I think Arthur goes before that.
Yes, I had 13.
All right.
All right. It's just +2 because of a low light. So this is my saber attack. And that's
Swing and a
terrible.
miss.
And here's the dagger. 16.
Stab.
4 + 1. Boop. Okay.
2 points of damage, wounds another goblin. It's not looking good because now it is the remaining goblin's turn, and there are a lot of them. 2 more crawl out of the slime to come at Luther from the front. That's a 2 and a 3.
Attack me, fools.
2 of them come after Arthur with a 4 and a 5. That's right, they'll eventually get you guys. One against one of the NPCs, which is a nat 20.
Ooh.
The goblin has a spear of his own, and I think a nat 20 is just a single crit because you guys have armor on. Otherwise, it would have been a double crit.
Do we?
Your dudes have. Oh no, they don't have. Oh shit. Oh god, I think
would instruct them to sleep in their armor. Or...
no.
Well, they
Yeah.
do have leather armor, so
Yeah,
they
it's
could
kinda-
conceivably have slept in that.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's like boiled leather though. It's stiff. It's not flexible. It'd be very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
So one of your people, what is his name? Annis takes 8, 10, 14 points of damage.
Ouch.
And Annis had 8
Not that much
HP.
HP.
So Annis is down to -6.
Fucking Annis.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the other 2, one makes a stab at Jacob and misses, and the other one comes for Arthur and rolls a 13.
That just barely hits me.
Ooh. Oh, that's right, because you are armorless. You take 5 points of damage from the goblin's spear.
Although there is one thing. Normally when you wear chainmail, you would wear your gambeson under it and then take the chainmail off.
Yep.
Would I have been sleeping in my gambeson?
If you would like to, you can. It's probably a little uncomfortable, but it might keep you warm, easy to put on, then you have some armor. Your call.
It is winter time, so it'd be pretty cold, and my microphone keeps changing its volume. Stop it. I think in this situation, I would have been sleeping
Okay.
in the gambeson itself.
That increases your AC by 2, I believe, so that's actually not a hit.
Okay.
All right. That is everyone on the battlefield. Initiative. The frogman is nowhere to be seen. Neither is the beetle.
Fucking beetle. Okay. That's not good.
All right, and 2d10 for the, 2 plus 6. Oh, 1d10, you're right, because the other one's unconscious already. Good call. No, Arthur goes first.
Okay, more saber time.
All right, Silver Saber it.
Ooh,
Nice.
20.
Critical hit.
Pop.
You cut down the goblin that you had wounded before, removing him from the game. Do you have a offhand attack as well?
I do, yes. So for the dagger, there we go. Yeah.
Nope. Swing and a miss. All right, a goblin goes at Arthur with a 7, which is a miss, and the next one goes at 12. So I think Luther goes before that.
No, I had a 15.
Oh, dear
but,
God.
I
Okay.
think it was before that.
Go for it, Jacob. Believe you.
Avenge your fallen.
Ooh,
Nope.
not so much. All right. 2 more stab at Our Luther, one with an 8, one with a natural 20, which is a hit, but
Yeah,
not a
just
crit.
barely.
You take 5 points of damage from the spear.
Just a flesh wound.
When the frog riding the beetle comes charging across some open water, swamp water, you can hear it splashing.
Oh yeah.
The frog lets out these loud ribbits while waving his oaken staff over his head. The beetle charges into the sides of the goblins with a 20 to hit with his big ass horn.
What a beast.
Ouch.
44.
Goblins.
Yeah. 8 points of damage, killing one. And I think the pincers come after another, but those are all misses. Goblin's turn. Let's see. They've lost a few of their dudes. Some of them are wounded, and there's now a big-ass beetle. They've had enough. The remaining goblins withdraw. Taking the withdraw action, kind of backing into the swamp with their spears waving in front of them.
Do I get an opportunity attack?
No, withdraw prevents the opportunity attacks.
Oh.
But you do get your turn.
Okay. So can I catch up to them since they're withdrawing?
Yeah, they move much more slowly.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll splash after them
Mhm.
with my arming sword, my silver arming sword. Let's do for back attack.
No, they're backing
Oh,
away
yeah,
from
yeah,
you. Oh,
Ooh.
double crit.
My first use of the silver sword. That's gonna be a murder. Yeah,
Oh dear God, you kill a 3 HP goblin with 18 points of damage. It dies miserably. And that's the. No, I guess Arthur would get a second attack this round.
Yes.
Yes. So you can do a half move after them and make your second attack.
Yeah, so if I see Luther going after them, I would follow him, of course.
Alright.
So.
Fourteen's a hit.
nice.
8 damage takes down one of the goblins. Let's roll initiative. Alright, the goblins have had enough of this shit. It's too many of their people.
I don't have my crossbow anymore. Here I could shoot them.
They go at 5, 6, and 7. Looks like they all go first. They turn and run. I think both Arthur and Luther can get an attack of opportunity against one. But they weren't bundled up enough that you guys get multiple attacks of opportunity.
Okay, I was taking out my regular daggers to throw them. Does that get me an attack of opportunity still?
Yes, you still have a weapon in your hand.
Did they turn around or are they just?
Yes, they turn and run. +2 to back attack. 17's a hit. That was a D10, not a. Arthur rolls a 1 damage. Does no real effect on the goblin who flees into the night. The 10 does not hit. They got armor on. Did you include 2 for back attack, Arthur?
Yes.
All right. The goblins bound away into the swamp, moving with surprising speed and grace.
Okay.
And make their getaway.
Can Jacob be trying to patch up Annis's wounds?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Why don't you roll me an intelligence check for Jacob?
Okay.
Shit.
Say his
well,
intelligence is 10.
22.
That's 22 is enough. Yep. Patches up Annis.
Shit, Jacob.
We found our MVP.
Forgot. Like, oh.
Gonna leave another person to die in the swamp.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Oh.
Well. I give a thumbs up to the beetle.
The frogman comes over, looks at the poor dying Annis, pulls something out of its pack, and starts applying it to Annis's huge wound.
Can Regular can human healing poultices stack with frog healing poultices?
No.
Okay. That might be OP.
Yeah. Okay. And now what are you guys gonna do? You've got an unconscious person with you.
I'm gonna ride with Annis on my horse, and we're gonna keep going. I guess I
Okay.
could kinda, like strap his legs to the saddle or something. Make sure it doesn't fall off.
Okay. Uh, the rest of the night passes uneventfully, and we can go into the next day.
All right.
Okay. I'll go ask the frog as we're traveling and say, my microphone, please. How far away is the den? How many days?
You slow.
Oh dear. We are kind of slow.
Should be there by now. Too slow.
You think maybe another day, maybe 2?
He nods.
All right. I look over at Luther with a slightly questioning look.
Luther just shrugs. And then silent contemplation at some point. Since it's something I forgot to do, he's gonna give a silent prayer to Big Mama Beatrix in the sky that Clara gets pregnant.
Okay. And you guys head out following the frogman.
All right.
Okay. So let's see the next day. Counter tables. Counter table. All right. So you push through the swamp for another half day or so until the frogman stops you and points up this valley between 2 hills. There's a little bit of water trickling down this canyon. I think is probably a better word for it. Valley. And he just points back there and goes, home.
I point up there and say up there.
Nods.
Okay. I ride that way.
Okay. Frogman turns around and starts walking backwards.
I will stop and say, I'll hold up my hand again and say, friends?
No. And then
I'll pull out one of my daggers and like
threaten him to be your friend? What?
no. I'll take the sheath and or maybe I don't have a sheath, maybe it's just in a bag. I'll pull out one of my regular daggers and like hold out the handle to him and say, friends?
He takes the dagger, says thank you, and walks away.
Okay. Well, now I have one dagger. Oh well.
Yeah. After the frog leaves, I look over at Luther and I say, I don't think that's how making friends usually works.
Well, figured I'd try. I wonder if we. I turn back around and isn't that far away, right?
He's making pretty good time. You can call after him.
I'll shout out to him. 5 days.
5 days.
Yeah, because he said we were gonna meet in 5 days.
Oh, right.
Just making sure he remembers.
Yeah. He croaks back 5 days.
Okay.
Okay.
I hold up my hand in the 5, and
He only has 3 fingers, right? He's not actually doing
Yeah.
the Spock
yeah,
sign.
it's fine.
Yeah.
I just pretend I have 3 fingers.
Right. Okay.
All right.
Here it is. Here's this valley. You've got the 2 of you plus 1 conscious NPC, 1 unconscious NPC, and a pair of horses.
So do we see a cave up the canyon, or is it?
No, it twists and winds, and there's trees and bushes and rocks and all sorts of stuff in the way.
Okay. I'll keep us riding my horseback until we might see it in the distance. And then maybe
hold on a second. Let me have a look around. Since the Hydra is like giant, I want to see if there's any obvious trails of like a large creature moving around regularly.
Probably a good idea.
Would you like to give me a tracking check, please?
Yes.
See if there's a T-Rex that's been walking around recently.
Mm-hmm. Checking my proficiencies. Tracking is just perception. Okay.
Can't believe the frog said we weren't friends.
Not everyone wants to be your friend.
26.
Yes. You do see this long slithering tail mark that would have to be by a giant snake or something like a hydra-sized tail, as well as these very broad-set, deep footprints that stick into the marsh in all sorts of places. Clearly, a hydra has come through these parts many times. Not very recently, though. These tracks are all quite old, but it's unmistakable that this is a place where a hydra would have traveled frequently.
Okay. Yeah, I'll point them out to Luther and say, these tracks, we could probably follow them.
Were they made recently?
No. But,
Good.
yeah.
Worried that there's more than one, a little bit. Do I know about hydra mating with my animal lore? Do I know if they?
No.
Okay. No, give it a shot. So I guess we'll ride up following the hydra tracks. I'll look around for any small snake friends of the hydra I can kill.
Okay. Let's see how that goes. There are no snake friends anywhere. And you successfully follow these tracks up the canyon. As the canyon winds back, it opens a little bit until you see this huge cave entrance. It's got to be like 20 feet tall, 30 feet wide. There's trees growing inside of it. It's well into afternoon by now. And you can see kind of a swarm of birds gathering overhead. It's not quite sunset, but you're getting near towards evening.
Birds.
Yeah, it's got to be like 1,000 birds overhead
Jesus.
that are kind of spinning in a circle above the cave entrance.
That's strange.
Not a good sign.
Okay, I will. So there are some trees nearby.
Yeah, there's a lot of life around here.
Okay, and so this is a canyon. There's like walls at some point on either side.
They're gentle walls because it's not quite a mountain canyon. But yeah,
Okay.
they're
There happen
walkable, I would
Any
say.
shadows over there?
Any what?
Any shadows?
Yes, lots of shadows.
So like the walls creating a shadow?
Oh, no.
Okay.
No.
That's fine. I will get off my horse, take off my armor, I guess tie the horse to a tree, and I will tell Jacob and Arthur that I'm going to sneak ahead and see if there's anything in the cave.
Jacob looks at you like you're crazy. Are you serious? You could die in there.
It's better than running in there and getting surprise attacked or something. if I see anything, I'll come back and get my armor, and we can go in if it's something we can take on. And
God, you're so brave.
Yeah, I want to look up at these birds. Can I tell, like, roughly what type they are? Like, are these carrion birds?
No, they are not carrion birds. That much you can tell for certain.
we're just hanging out then. Nice. Arthur, you see any eagles or hawks or?
I don't know. Do I see any of that?
Hold on. These are swifts. That's what they are.
Swift.
Yeah, it's a type of bird.
Mostly just swifts.
Well, apparently a group of swifts are collectively known as a screaming frenzy. Okay, I'll say, well, never mind. If there was an eagle, I'd say you should try to call it down and tame it, but no, nobody cares about these. And once I've got my armor off, I will sneak ahead.
Okay.
And I'll try to like stay close to a wall. I'd still be able to see into the cave.
Yes. So you edge forward. You can see around this section, the areas that aren't underwater are covered in a layer of white bird poo, except for where clearly the Hydra has walked and washed all the poo away. You come to the edge of the cave, and it's this big-ass cave that just goes back in. The creek flattens out and slows down inside the cave, so it actually, if the cave is 30 feet wide, maybe 20 feet of the cave is water, and this might be like 5 feet on either side, thinning to no space, or expanding to 10 or 15 feet as the creek winds inward. There are large stalactites hanging down. There are no stalagmites you see anywhere on the ground, though.
Maybe the Hydra eats stalagmites.
Yeah, and there's lots of like lumpiness to the ground around here.
Okay, so I'm sitting around the edge of the cave. I'm moving silently. I guess I'll detect noise to see if I hear anything inside.
Okay, what's your chance to detect noise?
20%.
All right, you hear the sounds of birds. Lots and lots of birds, but that's probably coming from overhead.
Yeah. Okay. And I don't see anything in there. It's too dark.
You can see in the
Okay.
setting sun shines this way because this cave slightly faces the west, so you can see in a bit.
Okay. I don't see anything.
Mm-mm.
No debris or anything. No horns just laying around.
No horns, no debris. Definitely no treasure right here near the mouth of the cave.
Yeah. I will. Do I have torches? I think our torch carrier might have died. No, I have a hooded lantern, which I don't want to throw into the cave. Okay, I'll start moving silently into the cave. And I guess there's definitely shadows like on the walls of the cave, right? Because I assume there's the entrance and it kind of expands out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'll try and stay in the shadows. I guess you can't hide in shadows while moving though, right?
Right, and at a certain point when it's only shadows, there's not much to do. Like hide in shadows requires shadows and light to trick the eye.
Okay, well I'll just slowly move silently into the cave. Still staying in the shadow because being in the light would be quite obvious.
Right. You trickle into the back of the cave. You're at some points you're going to have to wade through the water. There's going to be no way to avoid that.
Okay. It's not too deep, is it?
Won't know until you go in.
Okay. Well, I'll stick my... Well, first I'll take a good look at the water. Make sure there's no man-eating piranhas or anything.
None that are obviously calling out to you.
Okay. I'll stick my arming sword in and just stir it around.
The water?
Yeah.
Yep. It stirs around.
Does it
Nothing
reach the
comes out
ground?
to eat you. Oh, yeah. The first area where before you have to enter, you can definitely feel it, but it does slope away from you. So every time you poke your sword a little farther, it
Uh,
sinks in a little deeper.
you
Okay.
don't actually have your sword anymore.
I have my silver sword, which is what I'm using. Okay. I'll step into the water, I guess.
Okay.
Quickly make my way across. I can't swim, so I guess I'm gonna try to walk.
You can walk through this without too much trouble. The water gets up to your waist, but no deeper than that.
Okay.
And you push deeper into the cave. The light dims around you. You can still see because the light's coming from behind you, but it gets pretty dark in here.
Okay.
The sound of the birds is quite loud, kind of echoing all around you. There's water dripping on your face from above. When you close around kind of a winding turn and see just barely in the very dim light that's left is... Wait, you have a lantern, right? No.
Yeah, but I haven't lit it yet.
Okay, that's good. You can kind of see a drier landing spot made out of stone, semi-flat stone.
Interesting. How often can I detect noise?
As often as you'd like.
Okay, so I'll sit there a moment and detect noise again.
You don't hear anything else other than the deafening sound of the bats around you, birds around you.
Yeah. Okay, so I just see that area of stone and nothing else really. Okay.
Yeah, it's too dim to see anything else at this point.
I'll keep slowly moving forward.
Okay. You move across this groundy part, this stone part, and it just gets too dark to really see anything. But your feet bump into something light, and by the kind of echoing sound it makes as it scatters and bumps across the stone floor, it sounds like bone.
Okay, I'll detect noise again.
Stay still for a moment.
Breathing or...
Doesn't sound like anything's breathing in here other than yourself.
Okay, I'll pull up my hooded lantern and light it.
Okay, your lantern shines across the cave floor, showing you hundreds of bones of some sort of creatures. Most of them in small piles around here. Some of them definitely look human. Some of them are clearly goblin. Some you don't recognize at all. Many of them are crushed, broken, powdered at this point.
It's just bones. No.
Well, there's a lot of stuff here. If you want to start picking through the bone piles looking for things, it'll take a little while.
Yeah, I guess at this point, is it the end of the cave? Is there anything?
No, it looks like the waterway continues back further, and this is just a spot off to the side.
Okay, well, I'll head out of the cave and I'll go all the way down to the horses. Tell them I didn't find anything, but there's a lot of bones and a lot of debris, so we should go in there and look around. And I will put on my armor and then head back in, I guess.
Okay. Arthur, you coming with them?
Yep.
Okay. The three of you, are you going to leave the other guy outside with the horse, or are you going to bring the horses in? What's going on with them?
Actually. I think, we should leave Jacob out with the horses.
All right, you leave Jacob outside with the horses. The two of you, right. The two of you head in, come across this large bone pile, and start to scour through them. You find all sorts of old, rusted-out weapons that are completely worthless now. You find personal things like rings. You find a couple of golden rings, a couple of silver rings. You find the remains of what looks to be people that were eaten by the Hydra, and then when it shat them out, This is just what was remained. There's a thin layer of water kind of trickling, or lots of water dropping from the ceiling, which kind of washes away all the dirt and debris here, leaving just the heavy objects behind.
Mm-hmm.
Digging through all of this, you do find against one of the sides of the wall a very old-looking horn. It's slightly cracked down the side.
Oh dear. Well, found it. Luther will get very excited at this and pick it up. And I guess he'll hold the lantern up to it and take a look and motion Arthur over and say, "Think this is it?"
Huh. I don't know. I've never seen a magic horn before.
It has a little crack in it, but I don't know what. Well, I'm not going to try to blow it here anyway. Okay, he puts it in his backpack and keeps scouring around, I guess, if there's anything else.
Can I get perception checks from the two of you, please? Is that a 26 and a 22? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. You find a leather backpack. When you open it, there are some old rotting cloths wrapped around a few things. As you unbundle it, it appears to be some flasks of God knows what. They're metal flasks. Looks like bronze flasks.
So you can't see into them?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I would take one out. Is it stopped up or something?
Mm-hmm. It's got a nice bit of cork plugged into it.
Yeah,
Okay.
Luther's, how many are there? Or did I say
3.
that? 3. Okay. Luther's going to take one and uncork it and smell it.
It smells strongly of alcohol.
Well, it smells like alcohol, but Luther will taste a tiny bit.
Tastes like good whiskey. Or maybe, tastes like whiskey. I don't know how Luther feels about it.
Luther's probably, I don't think he's the biggest fan, but he's probably intrigued. I don't know if he knows what really good whiskey tastes like, but well, that's that, I guess. Is there anything else in the backpack?
No. I guess in some of you do find some coins scattered across the floor as well. Various coins of silver and gold and copper. You can find a total of, for it, 130 gold coins.
Ooh.
Uh, 260 gold coin, silver coins. And 880 copper coins.
Nice.
We're gonna need a big bag.
Yeah, Luther's backpack has a lot of random stuff in it now. It's got 6 snakes, plant, a bunch of money, I guess, and flasks of whiskey, and a horn of blasting. Horn of blasting. Okay, and we found a couple rings too.
Yeah, you found some golden and silver rings. Look like wedding rings, maybe.
Okay, I'll go ahead and appraise those and see if there's anything special marked on them.
Give me a quick appraisal check. You know what? No, these are just common rings. You can tell that the gold ones are worth 2 gold each, and the silver are worth 2 silver each.
Okay. And they don't say like Lorwyn on them or anything.
No.
Okay, that's unfortunate. They probably have fancy rings anyway. Okay.
Oh, you know what? There is one more thing. You do find a chewed up breastplate, a chewed up and rusted breastplate.
Plate? Like plate armor?
Yeah, but just the breastplate of it. Kind of like how you're wearing plate with chain. This is like a breastplate, but it looks like it's been bitten apart, probably by a Hydra.
Well,
I mean, those are expensive. It might have been the Lorwyn lady's breastplate. We could bring it back and see if
that's true.
they want it.
If it killed someone with plate armor, it's probably someone important. I guess we'll take it back. That definitely won't fit in a backpack, but
no, I can carry that.
Okay. And so the cave just goes down with the creek or whatever it is.
Yeah, it keeps flowing uphill into the cave.
Okay. I'll point up there and say, think we should go up there.
Maybe just to check it out.
Okay. I'll motion for Arthur to stand still for a second and detect noise again.
Still as quiet as before.
Okay. Well, I don't hear anything, so might as well head up. Can't really see around in this armor, but
you guys go deeper into the cave. The water gets a little bit deeper until you can kind of hear this rushing sound as you get further and further into the cave. The sound of the birds disappears behind you. Sounds of the life of the area disappear behind you. Where is my cave music? Why do I have cave music around? Some go. Perfect. It's just this dripping and the sound of running water, like a waterfall or something.
Seems just like a cave.
Yeah. I guess we still have the lantern lit, so if there's anything to be seen.
Yep, you can keep pushing on back. You start to see some stalagmites popping up here or there. And then you come to a waterfall in the back of the cave. It's not super big, but it's enough that it's a consistent stream, probably what creates this creek here. And the water gets really deep near the base of the waterfall.
Okay. Is there any solid ground to the sides that we can stand on?
Yes.
Okay. How climbable does the wall look? Like, is there any dry part of the wall I can climb?
There's no dry parts of the wall. Everything in here is damp. But you might be able to try and climb it anyway, because you are a thief after all.
I am indeed.
Don't you also have a grappling hook?
Oh yeah, I do have the grappling hook. Or you do. Arthur. Hook.
Okay. It's out on the horses, but I can go get it for you.
Never mind. I'll just try climbing up the wall without it.
Okay, what is your climb walls chance?
It is 70%, but I am in plate armor.
Ooh, yeah, you're gonna have to take that armor off to climb. I guess you don't have to. It'll just give you some penalties. Let's look them up.
Yeah, I have the penalty for chain armor listed, which is 25.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll use the same penalty.
Okay. So my check is... Do I think how much will it hurt if I fall off?
Depends on how high you fall and whether you're climbing above water or above earth. If you fall into the water, you'll probably be okay. If you fall into the ground, you'll take d6 points of damage for every 10 feet.
Yeah, I'll definitely try to climb above the water. It seems
okay.
like a good idea.
Let's see. You're going to get a 25% penalty for it being slippery conditions. You're not below half your maximum HP, are you?
No, I'm at 17 out of 22.
Okay, so what's your total chance now?
20%. So
Excellent.
Maybe if I know that it's 20%.
Yeah, you can take a look at this and be like, it's really slippery. As for grappling hooks, though, where would you grapple?
I don't know.
You
See if
need
it
something to
sticks in
hold
the
on
rock
to.
up
Yeah.
there. Okay, I'll start taking off my armor.
Okay. You shed your heavy armor.
Yeah. And now I try to climb it.
What's your chance?
It was 25% penalty, so 45.
Okay. A D100.
Ooh, I kill it.
Nice. You successfully scale right up next to the waterfall. Arthur is going to have to stand below and shine the light up. And you get to a point where you can actually get right next to the waterfall. It looks like it's coming out of this crevice, and it used to be a lot heavier of a flow because there's plenty of room above the water. It's still a small area, maybe 3 feet high, 2 feet, 3.5 feet wide. So if you can get in there and successfully hold on, you could probably crawl back even further. But God knows where that goes, or how far back, or
Yeah,
those things.
that's getting into ridiculous levels of cave exploration that I don't know if I want to. So since it's not fully flowing through the crevice anymore, is there like somewhere I can poke my head through, see if I can see anything?
Yeah, you can kind of poke your head in, and it just,
Yeah, like,
since the light's shining from above, you don't get a lot of light back there, and it just looks like a water passageway that goes back forever.
okay. If Arthur reaches up with the lantern and I reach down, can I grab it?
No, you're like 15 feet up right now.
Okay. I'll just climb back down.
Okay. Yep, you can plop back down, no problem.
Okay. That's it's definitely where the water's coming from. I don't know what else is in there, but it looks like I could crawl through if I really wanted to, but it seems ridiculous.
Yeah,
I guess I'll
probably
just
not
armor
anything
on.
in there.
Yeah, we found the horn. It's kind of what we were looking for. I guess we'll get the armor and head back, get Annis some bed rest.
Okay. You guys exit the cave, go back to Jacob, who's guarding Annis, and what? Head for home?
So just theoretically, with my animal lore, do I know if what was it called again? I can't remember. If the birds would attack me if I blew a horn of blasting at them?
They're birds. They probably wouldn't attack you unless they thought you were threatening their nest. And
Yeah, the screaming frenzy.
yeah.
Well, I do really want to try this horn. Okay. So I'll get back to the horses. And I will just tell everybody to stay there. And I'll walk back towards the cave entrance with the horn in my hand. And I will point it up at the birds and just blow it.
This would be a great time for
all the monsters
a
in the world
break.
to our location.
Let me just take a quick look at the horn of blasting. See if we want
I
to
hope
go
it
to.
doesn't turn to dust in my hand because I think they do that, don't they?
Well, if they do, then it wasn't a very useful horn to begin with, right?
That's true.
Okay.
How loud it is. It just sounds like
so you blow the horn and it just goes or whatever. That's clearly not a horn noise, but
yeah.
it makes the sound of a horn. I think I probably have a horn noise somewhere I can play. Go. Yeah. No effect.
I look down at the horn in disappointment. Do I see anything written on the horn?
Yes, you start turning it over, and there are words inscribed around the circumference of the end of the horn.
In common?
It's gibberish. It doesn't. They're not real words, but it's written in the common tongue.
Not real words.
Okay. 45%.
Yeah.
It's just gibberish.
I try to say the gibberish.
Okay, you
While
speak
pointing it
the
at the birds.
gibberish. Sounds kind of funny, Arthur.
I look down at the horn in disappointment once more. Well, I sigh and walk back to the horses.
You leave the horn behind? Toss
No,
it
I
in the
keep it
water?
No, thanks.
Okay. Why don't we go to our final break, and we'll see you guys on the other side. Bye-bye.